Welcome aboard the 4 to 7 pod. Chris and Jerry, 2026. We are back. I got the shades on because it's just it's too shady out here. Nah, I don't know. I was playing in a turkey bowl on Thanksgiving, and my regular glasses broke when I collided with someone. This is a two-hand touch game. Yeah, so these are the only glasses that I am able to see in at the moment. So I promise I'm not just doing this to I'm not just looking like a douchebag on purpose. But
if somebody asks you if you have a gambling problem, you go, no. I enjoy it. It's a hobby.
Yeah, no, it's fine as long as you win. Which I don't win a lot, but sometimes I do. I think I do okay. I do all right. But yeah, I also decided to wear this shirt today for no particular reason. But if you don't like that, then too bad. Turn it off. We don't need you. We already got what we needed from you, which is a view. Because you've been watching it this long, you already gave us a view. So thank you. Come again or don't come again, ever. But
you got a problem with it? Take it up with Bofa.
Yes. Yeah, he's a very nice, reasonable man. So I'm sure he'll point you in the right direction. But 2026, we are back. I don't know if the Yankees or Mets are back though, because there's not really a whole lot to report on right now. I mean,
unfortunately,
it has been it's been a few weeks since we recorded, and like a lot has happened, but like also like nothing's really happened. Like I think like
for anybody.
Yeah, like I think you guys signed Jorge Polanco, which so I guess that's something. If second base was the only position that was played on a baseball field, the Mets would be looking pretty good. But
apparently, future first baseman Jorge Polanco, I guess.
Oh, that's the plan?
I mean, there's been talk. I wonder how much of it is real and how much of it is a bluff to where, I mean, and I don't know if we're dipping into the free agent market or if there's any trade talks, which apparently Ken Rosenthal said it's real, that priority one for the Mets right now is trade talks, which could be anything. Could be hitters, could be pitchers. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I did see that tweet. That was I think he tweeted that like today or yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, that was before today's news came down.
Yeah, that they're still they're still prioritizing the trade market. And I think the last I heard with Kyle Tucker was that it was down to what the Mets, Dodgers, and Blue Jays. It doesn't seem like the Yankees are in on that. They seem a lot more interested in Cody Bellinger. And I think eventually that deal will get done. But apparently they are still very far apart. But I just don't really see anyone else. I don't think anyone else has really committed themselves to Cody Bellinger this offseason as much as the Yankees. I mean, I think they've made 2 official offers to him. Not sure exactly what the dollar amount is, but they made 2 offers to him. So it almost sounds like they might be in a bidding war with themselves for him. So I think eventually, like, he's just going to I think it's kind of going to play out the way the Pete Alonso thing played out for the Mets last year, where he didn't sign till like, what was it, like February or like late January when he finally signed.
Yeah. I mean,
because we've
seen that more and more since about 2017, it feels like, is when we've seen guys. I mean, the clearest examples are Manny and Bryce. Both were
2019. That was like the most. I think that was the most egregious example of it too. Like the 2 top free agents, 2 great players in their prime, just both, not getting signed till like the middle of February. Like I think like spring training was like starting and they still weren't signed.
And I think like JD Martinez, I think the year that he hit cleanup for the Red Sox when they won the World Series, I think he got signed like the week before.
The week
And then
before
the same thing
spring
happened with the
training, or
Mets
the week
2
before
years
like the
ago.
regular season?
Yeah, like his was extremely late, and this was someone coming off like an all-time trade deadline year with the Diamondbacks, and teams were still like, eh.
Yeah, and he had a really good season on that 2018 Red Sox team. Like,
Oh yeah,
I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Mookie Betts won AL MVP that year. But like,
yes,
I think if you like, this might be a hot take, but like, if you look at their numbers from that year, I think that there could be a case that it should have been JD Martinez.
there is. It's just hard when Mookie was that good of a defender and JD was almost strictly a DH.
This is true.
That's always going to be the inherent penalty against a DH, unless you just do like what Ohtani does, and that's
unless you're Shohei Ohtani,
yeah, like that's different.
Yeah,
but yeah, like but between the base stealing and the defense, it was like I got it, like that made sense.
Yeah, no.
This one, and this kind of makes sense, and this all kind of ties together, and I credit this one to Nick Grayson, who always has pretty sensible takes. He said, if the Jays hadn't signed Anthony Santander to a doomed from the start contract, the coast would be very clear for them to get Bo Bichette and Kyle Tucker, which is exactly why the Mets shouldn't sign your mid-tier free agents that you guys are begging for just because, which part of me does hear that because it's, when you look at it, they were very lucky of the fact that they were able to get Scherzer and Verlander off the books when they did, because then they did have the room to go get Juan Soto. If they weren't creative or just didn't have the foresight to do it, or weren't even thinking that far ahead of thinking, well, hey, if give it 18 months, we might have a shot at Juan Soto. But no, they had that in mind. They knew, hey, who knows what next season's going to bring, but let's make sure we're ready. And the Dodgers kind of did the same thing, not paying Corey Seager, not paying Trey Turner, not paying Scherzer.
Yeah.
Even though they would have been well within right to do so after they had him. But they had the right idea, knowing, hey, let's keep everything clear for Ohtani. We'll sign a Freddie Freeman if we need to, but let's not get ourselves too clogged up here.
Yeah, no, that's true. Do you think there might be some of that going on now? Like, let's get prepped for Skubal. Like, either we land him in a trade or, he hits the market next year and you don't have so much, mid-tier bad money on the books that even though Steve Cohen has more money than God, he's still going to, doesn't mean he's going to spend like he does. So, he's still going to pick his spots. So, without having so many mid-tier contracts like on the books, he might feel more inclined, like, okay, we can get Skubal, like, let's make a move. Like, because I don't know what's, I haven't really heard much on the trade front about Skubal. Isn't the deadline, or didn't the Tigers like instill like a deadline of when like a team would need to trade for him before they're just like moving on with him for the year, or to at least start the year?
They may have. I just didn't hear about it, which fully possible.
Yeah, I think I saw something about that, but
which I do get if you're the Tigers, because at some point it's, we can't be doing this in March. If we go to spring training and he's still here, well, look, we've made it a little further each of the past 2 years. If we don't get the offer we like, screw it. Let's just run it back and see if we can't go a little further this year too. Like, as they would have every right to do. Like, okay, so we're not guaranteed to have him beyond 26. Let's max out 26. I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah, I think it was actually they set the Diamondbacks set a deadline to trade.
Oh, that's right.
I
knew they had basically said, hey, yeah, if we don't get something soon, then we're wrapping this up. But I hadn't heard anything about the Tigers potentially having a Skubal deadline.
Yeah, no, as far as we know, there's no deadline for that. But the deeper it goes into the season, especially because, I mean, the Tigers have most of their core still coming back. I mean, they were, like they were basically like an inning away from going to the ALCS, and
Yeah.
you have obviously the Blue Jays were obviously the Blue Jays gave every team they played trouble this year, but if you have Skubal 2 or 3 times in that series, I think you feel good about your chances against anyone. So, they may be looking to just maximize what they have for him for this year, and not like the proactive thing to do for the Tigers would be, to pretty much just trade Skubal, get the assets, and you kind of punt on your window, even though it's only a 1-year window.
The only thing I could say was one, and the Tigers should feel that way because you took Seattle to the limit and then you pushed them to 15 innings in game 5, and Seattle pushed Toronto to the very brink. So if you're Detroit, you've got to be thinking, well, if we were pretty much dead even with the Mariners and the Mariners were pretty much dead even with Toronto.
Yeah, like
why aren't we? Why can't
any one of our, like this league could be any one of ours to take pretty much between those 3 teams. And it kind of,
the other thing for the Tigers is they have 2 rookies that'll be up at some point this year between Max Clark and Kevin McGonigal, who are legit rookie of the year candidates. So you already have a pretty good lineup anyway between Torkelson and Riley Green and Glaber.
Are they bringing back Glaber?
I think they brought him back on another 1 year.
Was it that or arbitration? Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Yeah, no, that's what it was. So they're already kind of good. And Colt Keith, I forgot him too. So you're already kind of good. And now you got a chance to inject 2 top 5 prospects in the sport, which is what I know Clark and McGonigal are. And the thing that's kind of knocked them at the end of each of the last 2 postseasons is they just ran out of offense. And you kind of hope that these 2 can do it. So I wouldn't blame Detroit if they're just like, hey, look, maybe we don't get anything beyond this out of him. Screw it. Let's send him off with a World Series title. Like, why can't we?
Yeah.
Also, before we get too late in the evening, because it still is a day, I just would like to say happy Francisco Lindor trade day to all who observe.
Yeah, we're enjoying the last. We're currently enjoying the last 16 minutes of Lindor to the Mets day.
I say the date itself is wonderful. Obviously, today has not been.
Oh yeah,
great, but
the date 5 years ago was wonderful.
And it was right on time. If you know what was going on 5 years ago.
Yep.
Ooh, buddy.
Oh yeah. The liberal media got Lindor on the Mets, and now they signed Andy Martino. So they did actually make a signing.
By the way, my team shortstop's wife is serving the city. Is your team superstars doing anything about the city?
My team superstars or superstars' wives. Not to my knowledge, there was some stuff about. Jazz Chisholm's wife seems to be providing some other kind of service.
Hey now,
on a certain website, which
people never put up a paywall to this access. Not that you want that access from us. Let me.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess that's a good segue into I guess the current or latest state of affairs with the Yankees. So it seems like signing Cody Bellinger is their number 1 priority. So far, they really haven't signed anyone of note. I mean, they signed Ahmed Rosario, which is kind of whatever. But I almost feel like, the more they don't do anything about this roster, the more I feel like he's gonna actually get like kind of significant-ish playing time next year, which. I mean, if he was just there for like the vibes and just like depth, I think that's good. But I don't know. Like they seem very obsessed with righties, so like I think they might have him platoon at like and he's pretty versatile, so I think they might have him like kind of do a little bit of platooning in the infield, which I'm not crazy about. But they're also linked to Bo Bichette, but they don't see Bo Bichette as a they don't see Bo Bichette as a shortstop. And to be fair, they're probably right. Like, he's probably not a shortstop.
And if you're going to give him the years that he wants, he probably wants to be a shortstop. And if he's already got these health issues, yeah,
I
mean, the right move.
I would still probably let Volpe be the odd man out there, but just because Volpe theoretically should be a very good defender. He has the range, but just he doesn't catch anything. So, like, I'd almost rather have a crippled Bo Bichette playing shortstop, and obviously the bat's a significant upgrade. But it seems more like if that were to happen, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's unlikely Bo Bichette signs with the Yankees, but it seems like if they were going to sign him, it would be, I guess, to play second or third. So essentially they would have to trade away either Ryan McMahon or Jazz Chisholm. And I think trading Jazz Chisholm is an extremely stupid idea. I don't know why it's like been a discussion or why we were fielding offers for him. I mean, I'd say he's a top 5 second baseman in the sport.
Yeah, if you let him walk, that's one thing. Because if it gets to a certain number where you go, all right, we're not comfortable with that, that's fine. You have your standards. But to give up on him or to feel like you have to punt him away, yeah, I'm not with that.
Yeah, to try and actively trade him away when you're supposedly in a window to win now. And I mean, this is the last year of his contract. He'll be a free agent after 2026. So yeah, I don't really, I wouldn't trade him. I would be trying to extend him and make him part of the long-term plan. I think, I think he's one of the best, he's one of the best second basemen in the sport, like I said. And they were also talking about, like, if they got Bo Bichette, like, that Jazz might have to play third. And we saw how Jazz played third last year when they kept trying DJ LeMahieu out there. So it wasn't great. And so it just kind of sounds like it would be that situation again, but with, a higher floor offensively.
And I mean, I guess you could also work it to where you could have Ryan McMahon platoon at first, but then you'd be cutting into Ben Rice's time. And I know no Yankee fans want to do that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to mess with that. Yeah, I'm not trying to mess with that. Yeah, so that's just kind of where we're at now. They were linked to Edward Cabrera. Like, there were rumors that like trade talks between the Yankees and the Marlins were heating up for Edward Cabrera. And then today he was traded to the Cubs. Edwin Cabrera went to the Cubs, and the Marlins in return received Owen Casey and I believe 2 other prospects.
Now, Owen Casey is a big. I'm pulling up the MLB pipeline top 100 right now because I know Owen Casey's basically been blocked because he's an outfielder, and so the Cubs just never had room for him because it's like, who do you get? What, you're not going to sit PCA. You're not going to sit Ian Happ. You're not going to sit Seiya Suzuki. Suzuki also DHs part-time, so there goes that route. And they couldn't play him at first either because you had Michael Busch. So, although I guess Casey did graduate from, I guess he had enough at bat, so he's not on the prospect list anymore, but he's still pretty green at the major league level. But, I mean, his power numbers were great at every level of the minor league. So, this does worry me a little bit as a Met fan because, again, the Marlins were not far off being a playoff
They
team
really
last
weren't.
year. Like that, he only had 26 at bats, so his slash line wasn't great last year. But also, it's 26 at bats. I'm not gonna base anything away from that. But if he just gets runway in Miami, hey, why couldn't that work?
Yeah, I really don't. Yeah, I really don't see. I really don't see much of a reason why it couldn't. And it seems like he's steadily been, playing well, through each promotion he's gotten over the last few years. Obviously, I mean, he had 26 at bats. He had 26 at bats in the bigs with the Cubs, and he only got like 5 hits, but he hit a home run, so you see that the power tool is there. It seems, and so it seems like it seems like
487 for his minor league career. So he's consistently done that.
It seems like his defense is pretty good, and he can play center, or he can play anywhere in the outfield, really. So it seems like they might have a player there.
And I know they sent 2 other guys in that deal, so and their names aren't as familiar to me. But this is one of those things where I guess if the Yankees were in it, I mean, if they got Owen Casey from the Cubs, I'm assuming they would have asked for Spencer Jones right off the top. And it ended up being a 3-player haul going back the other way. So you didn't to know what else they would have asked for.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm at a point anymore with Spencer Jones where there may have been a point like over the last year where I would have said Spencer Jones is untouchable unless you're getting like Paul Skeens or like Jose Ramirez or like that type of a player. I don't know if I'm necessarily still that bullish on Spencer Jones. Like, I'm still pretty bullish on him. But like, would I have traded him for Edward Cabrera? I think I'm okay with sitting that one out. Would it have been nice to add another starter to our rotation? Sure. But I don't think that's the main. I don't think that's certainly we need some more depth in our rotation, especially with like Rodon missing the beginning of the season. But I don't think that's the main priority. I think the main priority needs to be securing that third outfielder. So ideally getting Bellinger back, and I think just adding to the lineup.
Yeah, this is one of those, like, you expect Cole to be back, I think, by the end of May, I think is what they've said.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you missed the first month without Garrett Cole, but the rest of your rotation, you now know you have Cam Schlittler.
Freak was mostly pretty solid. And he still has to, show that he can sustain like what he did through his, through his rookie year. But obviously, you need to sustain it. But it's hard to not love his stuff.
So you do feel confident going into this year that he's somewhere in your rotation.
Yeah,
Fried had a pretty solid year one. Rodon will miss the beginning of the year, but on the whole, pretty solid each of the past 2 years. You're getting Will Warren back. You're getting Luis Heel back at some point too. So at the very least, you've got a group of guys that can at least hold the fort until Garrett Cole gets back. And then your rotation starts to look a little more like you wanted it to.
Yeah.
So it's like, would Edward Cabrera being in there, that would have been nice. But I don't think it takes your rotation from. I mean, I would say the Yankees rotation is probably, at the very worst, it's somewhere in the top 10. It might be closer to 5, but still. But I don't think if you add Edward Cabrera to that, it's
not moving the needle a whole lot.
Yeah, it moves it a little. Like, I do respect the talent, and as I've said, I would have been happy to have him. But I don't know if Yankee fans would have felt like, oh, well, that was the arm we needed. Like, good, another guy to have, glad to have him. But I don't know if that would have felt like an arm that puts you over the top, so to speak. And I don't even know
No.
necessarily that Yankee fans would feel like pitching was the problem. Or
Yeah.
if you do feel that way, with the season starting in a little over 2 months.
Yeah. I think right now, I think that, and I think that they probably were, but apparently they were never close to landing him. So they probably didn't offer Spencer Jones. They probably like lowballed them, and that's fine. Like, I'm okay with sitting it out. But yeah, they probably did it with the beginning, the beginning part, the first month of the season in mind, because they might need to, they might be in a situation where they need to kind of tread water.
Yeah, it's in the first 2 months of the season. Very rarely do you win a division in the first 2 months. Sometimes a team gets out in front at just an absurdly hot rate where you get to Memorial Day weekend, and it's wow, they're 12 games up already. Doesn't really happen that often.
You can
play your way out of contention in the first 2 months.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. You can fall far enough behind by Memorial Day weekend.
But if you play like 560 ball for the first 2 months, you're good.
Yeah, but I think even without, even at this point, like if you play 560 ball basically the whole year, you're good.
Yeah.
But
I think
you
probably wanted a little higher to try to win the division, but at the very worst, you're going to be one of the wild cards.
Yeah. But even without Edward Cabrera, I think you feel pretty good about the rotation starting out the season.
I would agree with that.
There's enough there with Fried, with Schlittler. You hope Luis Gil comes back to form. You hope that Will Warren is fine. You hope he continues to, you hope he continues to improve. I'm pretty sure we still have Ryan Yarborough too.
I think you're right.
So like he's still there, and he can give you professional outings. So
yeah, if he's your five, you're good.
Yeah, so I think even then we should be good. And we still got like our main, we lost Devin Williams, but like that might be addition by subtraction for us. I don't know. But we still got Bednar, Doval, and Fernando Cruz is kind of like, heading the bullpen. So, I think it's just basically like you have to either get Bellinger or, I don't really know. I know there's been concerns about Kyle Tucker's, work ethic, and that sometimes he doesn't, sometimes when he goes on slumps, he disappears for like a pretty long time.
He does.
So I think that's, something else that they might be wary of. But he's still a better player than Cody Bellinger by pretty much all accounts. And given what Bellinger did in the postseason, Bellinger, I think he originally, I'm sure he's had to have moved off of it by now, but apparently him and Boris were trying to get like a $400 million deal, and I'd be very okay with sitting that out. Quite frankly, I don't know if I'd give half of that. And I know that the Yankees have been pretty stingy so far this offseason. Hal basically made it known from the jump that that he wasn't going to be opening up the wallet. So it is what it is. But it's not that I feel necessarily bad about the roster. It's just that the main issue is that the teams around us are all making moves to get better. Like, the Orioles are adding. The Blue Jays just got Okamoto, cucked from the Pirates. Alex Bregman, I guess,
was like, hey, I was in the room when they signed the deal. I'll have you know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Are you sure this is okay? Paul Skeens and Jared Jones were at the Bills game this past weekend, so they were basically in Toronto. They should have went and tried to convince him to change his mind. They're close enough.
you get Bob Nutting on the phone like, "You're good for the money, Bob, right?" Yes.
Yes.
See, hey, everybody's buddies here, right?
Yeah, we love Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Skeens has to be like, he had to have talked to Josh Allen like, "How do you do it, man? Do what? Have a famous girlfriend and you live in a not big market. Just be awesome. What's the problem?" Also, other thing that does scare me about Kyle Tucker a little bit, and this is one of those things that, well, you can only really worry about it when you get there. But if you have designs on winning stuff, Kyle Tucker has hit over 250 in the now he has made the postseason every year since 2019. Obviously, a bunch of those with the Astros, and then this past year with the Cubs. He has hit over 250 in the postseason 3 times. Once in 2020, which I'm not going to be the type to call that fake, but it is different. He hit 279. He hit 279 in 2021, which he did well. Ultimately, the Astros fell just short. Can't say that's totally on him. The year the Astros won the World Series, he hit 204 for the postseason. And he hit 259 last year for the Cubs in the postseason. But there are some stinkers in there.
Yeah.
For the AL wildcard series against the Tigers 2 years ago now, 0 for 8. In the 2023 playoff run, he hit 150. In the 2019 playoffs, he hit 167. This is one of those like, yeah, you're paying that. Ostensibly, if you sign Kyle Tucker, it's because, well, we need protection behind Soto and Lindor now. It's like, okay, but when it really matters, is he going to be that guy? There's a lot of evidence that says he's not.
Yeah. Like, I mean, he's done it. So, he's done it before. So you hope you get that part of it, but you hope that you get that side of him. But it seems like the more recent evidence is that he's not that dude and not that dude in the playoffs. So,
but I guess the good news is you can survive Kyle Tucker not hitting and win a World Series. Like,
yeah, with the right lineup, which I mean,
I would personally run the trade for Yordan Alvarez play, but that's just me.
Yeah.
What do I know?
That could be a play. I don't think the Astros are. I don't think the Astros are in the business of trading anyone, though, especially after landing Tatsuya Imai. I'm probably not saying that right.
I cannot figure out what the Astros want. And we've talked about this on the show before. Some of the calls have been right. Sometimes they've known exactly when to let a guy walk. But it's like you just let Bregman and Tucker go, which if you were leaning into the idea of like, okay, well, we've probably gotten as much as we can out of this. Altuve's aging out. We understand. I may not agree with it, but you could at least present me with a line of thinking. If you were going to go out and get Ime for the idea of, well, Fromber's not coming back, but we have Hunter Brown. We've got some other guys. We might be able to keep this going. But why did you let Bregman and Tucker go? I don't get that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And I mean, Alex Bregman's still out there, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure why this kind of happens every year with him too, where he had a good year last year.
He's still Alex Bregman.
Yeah, we seem perfectly content, and we could definitely use a power hitting third baseman. Like, I like Ryan McMahon, but I think we need more pop at that position.
McMahon is a superior defender in that respect, but it's not like Alex Bregman is.
He's not like a slapdick defender.
No, he's a recently won a Gold Glove type defender. So that was
And at this point,
I'm ashamed to let you go, Ryan McMahon, but you get it, right?
Yeah, and at this point, I'd say the Gold Glove is a little bit more than a popularity contest. You you can't really get away with the Gold Glove being a popularity contest like in today's MLB. There's just so much data and information available that
you're seeing more guys now where
if you're lazy with your vote, like you're gonna get checked on it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we see winners now at the Gold Glove where like more casual fans are like, who?
Yeah,
and the people that watch all the time are like, no, that guy's really good. That guy deserves
that was the right call.
It's like people might look at Patrick Bailey and be like, man, that guy doesn't hit at all. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, no, Patrick Bailey's got the best catcher arm in the league. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or like, Key Brian Hayes doesn't really hit, but man, that guy can play a mean third base.
And I mean the Amai contract, I think it's pretty reasonable.
The Mets should have been in on that. For that AAV, why not?
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't be in on that, especially because there's opt-outs after every year too. So I mean, I'm not sure.
That I could understand, at least from the idea of, do we want to do this every single year? Like sometimes you just like having the peace of mind of knowing that a guy wants to be where you are, wants to be a part of your deal, and doesn't need a whole lot of fuss.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe Imai's like, I just want it in there just in case. He might be there all 3 years. I don't know.
Yeah, although I was gonna say it's a player option. I wasn't entirely sure if it's player options or team options, but yeah, I mean, I assume it's a player option.
You know what? I want to see starting pitcher AAVs because I know he's going to be 18 per year.
Yeah. So
see, this is and they only do like top 5. But like Sport Track does help here because they break it down into different categories.
Right.
Let me just do it per payroll. I want to see where that. Let me see who else is in the 18 million range here. Chris Sale is making 18 million next year, which, like, all right, that's actually a steal. Jameson Tyone makes 18 million.
Yeah, if he stays healthy, that's a steal. Yeah.
Jameson Tyone makes 18 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
That it feels like a little bit of an overpay, but I mean, if
Walker makes $18 million. I keep hearing every single day how the Phillies can't wait to get him out of there.
Yeah, so it's like you got like these, like pitchers that are like our age, basically, that are making 18 million a year, and
Michael Wacha makes 18 million.
Yeah, he still plays, and they were able to get, like this 27-year-old like stud from Japan for that much. I don't know why. I understand like we're not opening the checkbook and the Mets are doing whatever they're doing, but yeah, I don't know why we weren't more active in that.
Yeah, it's I refer back to what I said last episode with David Stearns. Buddy. Hello? You there?
Yeah. Yeah, Cashman, I guess Cashman's like sleeping out, sleeping outside of a homeless shelter somewhere or something. But I don't know how much of it's him or how much of it's Hal, but obviously I'm just going to blame both of them because that's who I've got to blame. But Framber Valdez, his market hasn't exactly been that bullish either, but I think I had this weird feeling that he might end up with I feel like he might end up with like the Orioles.
Apparently it's between the Orioles and us, and I don't know how
I heard the Angels.
That. What?
I've also heard like possibly the Angels might be involved,
and I will say this. If that does happen, people will pile on in our fan base about that. But at the same time,
if he goes,
everyone would need to take a step back and realize if he chose the Angels after being a part of the Astros as one of the best pitchers in baseball, and he still chose to walk into that, you really want that? That's Is that a guy you really want to be in the foxhole with? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's like I don't want anyone who would welcome me as part of their club because You got to be pretty stupid to feel that way.
And this would be fun to ask Kev about it, and maybe we'll do it in the Discord eventually. And maybe I'm overstating it. Maybe I'm putting too much into it. But I wonder if his market wouldn't have already been taken care of, or if his numbers would be higher if that incident with his catcher hadn't happened. Because as far as I can tell, a lot of teams seem hesitant, and that's come up. And I see a lot of fan bases being like, man, do we want that guy? And I count myself among that, because it's like, if you're going to show your teammate up, especially if you're a pitcher and you're showing your catcher up like that on camera, like this wasn't a BP session. This wasn't a daily workout. Everybody saw it. We can go pull that up on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Like, if you were willing to do that, like, because your pride was hurt, and you were willing to risk something like that during a game, I don't know what you're really about. And if I'm trying to get somewhere, I don't know if I can count on that.
Yeah, I mean, between him and Kyle Tucker's lack of work ethic, I mean, I know they won a World Series, but it sounds like it was a pretty toxic environment.
Well, now, laziness can be a certain type of toxic. And, again, how much of that is true? Sometimes when we hear stuff, and I know what Kev told us, I don't doubt the validity of, but we, like you said on the last show, he basically, the day after Kev told us, it actually got out there in the national media.
Yeah, it became like public knowledge.
And you wonder if national media writers don't run with that a little more than, like, if Kev tells me that, it's okay, probably some truth to that.
Yeah.
And then when national writers make it like some sensationalistic thing, it's okay. It's probably not untrue, but like, how serious are we talking?
Teams could also be leaking stuff to, like, especially with like how MLB is and like how the owners are right now. Like, teams could be leaking stuff like that to maybe try to drive prices down.
I don't doubt that. That would not shock me at all.
So they don't get into like these crazy, crazy, like Juan Soto type of bidding wars.
Also, should be noted with Framber Valdez, another thing where, and I know you've said it on past shows about Judge, where it's, postseason numbers are what they are until they're not.
Yeah.
But in Framber Valdez's postseason career, a 1.88 ERA in 3 starts in 2020, an ERA of 7.78 over 5 starts in 2021, then an ERA of 1.44 during the 2022 run, where he was, I can't remember if he started the no-hitter game or if Christian Javier did. I get those two crossed all the time, which is crazy because Javier is not a lefty. But then in 2023, an ERA of 9 in 3 starts, and then only made 1 start 2 years ago when they only got to the wild card round, but got knocked out in the 5th inning. So that's another guy where you really don't know what you're getting. If he's on, he is the most on. When he's not, oh boy, it's bad.
Yeah.
Again, I need a little more certainty than that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely definitely fair. Definitely fair to be a little hesitant. But I mean, yeah, he's 32, but he is one hell of a pitcher. I guess we'll
for the years and for the years and value he's asking, that's another thing where it's, if he's asking for 6 years, I don't think I do it.
Yeah, I'd be okay. Yeah, I'd be okay sitting that one out. If someone else is willing to give him 6 years, let him. So what? He's going to be 38 by the end of that.
That's very dangerous.
You might have 2 or 3 good years, and then those last 3 years are going to be ugly.
But, and I know Kev's talked about this, is that, I mean, that's pretty much the risk that you're going to run with every deal that's over 5.
Yeah.
You're almost certain the back half of that's going to be ugly. It's just, are you going to capitalize on the first 5?
Right. Yeah.
Cool. I'll deal with that. Like, ask any Nationals fan how they feel about Patrick Corbin. Like, yeah, most of that contract sucked. He got one.
You did get one, and yeah, he was a big part of it.
Yeah, I feel like I could manage.
I think you can live with that, and I mean, yeah, Valdez, he's someone who's done it before, obviously, and he hasn't really showed signs of slowing down yet. I mean, although he does have his occasional bad outings. I would be willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, considering that's the only, the cross up incident, that was like a one time thing. I'd be willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that's like, is it a concern? Yeah, but I think it's something push comes to shove, if we were in the running and if the money and the years were right, I think it's something that when push comes to shove, I'd probably sign him anyway. It only happened one time. It's not like he has like a reputation of being like an asshole. It seems like it's just something
that's fair.
He might have just he might have just been like out of sorts or lost his shit. I mean, I'm sure if teams are meeting with him, that would be a good question to ask him like about that and see how he responds.
Yeah, I gotta imagine it's like, hey man, has that happened before? Like,
or like,
what was going on that day? Was something else happening and that was just your breaking point?
Yeah, like what is this about, basically?
Also, I think since the last time we talked, I don't think Luke Weaver had signed yet when we did. I think it would have been
he's
Devin Williams, and it's another one where, because you kind of alluded to it a little bit when talking about the Yankee pitching staff, with Devin Williams being addition by subtraction for you guys. And I feel like the same thing happened with Luke Weaver, where down the stretch of the season, I felt like I saw more than a few Yankee fans being like, man, I can't wait till he's gone. And then as soon as we signed him, it's, that could work for you guys. It's like, I know what I heard before. Am I being gaslit? What is this? What that is?
Yeah, I think it depends. I think it really just depends what Luke Weaver you're getting, and kind of like what it comes down to with really every reliever is just it's a very volatile position, relief pitcher. So like, and when it's bad, it's definitely bad. Like, sometimes, especially because it's like they don't have like the luxury of necessarily working through it. Like if you're a relief pitcher and you're in a slump, you don't really get the luxury of working through it the way a starter might. So, but yeah, he definitely was slumping at the down the stretch last year, and it got to a point where it was like, man, we can't. Like I remember, like when we put Luke Weaver in the game in like the 2024 playoffs, I was like, oh, awesome! Like, all right, like we're probably gonna win. Like I feel pretty good. But because he kind of like overtook Clay Holmes as like the starter, or not the starter, the closer. He overtook Clay Holmes as the closer that year, and he was like our closer like in the playoffs, like when we went to the World Series. So yeah, if you're getting like 2024 Luke Weaver, you could be in pretty good shape. But if you see more of the Luke Weaver that we saw this past year, the last few months of the year, then yeah, you were probably sold a bill of goods. But I mean, it's one of those other ones where it's like we have enough pieces in our bullpen that I'm fine moving off of it. Would it have been nice to have him there too? Yeah, it always is nice to, you want as many arms as you can have in the bullpen. But, it's one of those where, I could see him potentially like finding his groove again with the Mets.
It's two things is, if you could absolutely sell me that the majority of the time we will get 2024 Luke Weaver, all right, fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a little sus. He kind of was like a late bloomer. Like he was like 30 and kind of came out of nowhere.
That does happen with relievers. So I'm willing to give that a little bit more benefit of the doubt, where it's like, hey, sometimes you just discovered a pitch that you didn't know worked for you. Or in Luke Weaver's case, he was a starter. So, there's plenty of guys that tried to make it as a starter as long as they could make it and then became a reliever as the last option. There's a lot. Mariano Rivera didn't have to go as long, but he was a starter. Eric Gagne was a starter. There's a lot of them. So, all right, I'm willing to grant you some time with that. I guess if there's one other thing that makes it similar to the Devin Williams thing is I feel like I did see a lot of, well, in fairness to Luke Weaver's 2025, here's how it looked before he got hurt. Here's what it looked like after he got hurt. And it almost kind of looks like the same song. So, okay, if you can promise me that that's cleaned up and that's behind them. All right. All of a sudden, a bullpen where it's those two, and you do have the two lefty options of Brooks Raley, hopefully is, as far as I can tell, I don't think ended the year with an injury. So Brooks Raley, at least at the start of this year, will be the first lefty guy out of the pen. AJ Minter should be good to go, if not at the start of the season, not long after that. So you have this time two legitimate lefty options where you could turn to Minter or Raley and you're in good hands. And then you have Weaver and Williams at the back end. All of a sudden, like, okay, if you're counting on positive regression to the mean for Weaver and Williams, that's fun. That's not outlandish.
But and I think there's a world where that could happen.
But it goes back to the same thing that we hammered so many times last year. You can't run these guys into the ground by June. That was what happened. And I do see a lot of people bring up, and maybe I haven't mentioned it on the show if I haven't, but there's a lot of people that are wise to point out, hey, you do know they should get a full season of Nolan McLean this time, health permitting, which, I don't think he's had any injury issues, but, starting pitchers, it can happen. But, hey, you should get a full season of Nolan McLean. Like, you know how awesome the last month and a half was for him? Like, picture a full season of that, which, yes, good. But then the question lingers. All right, well, what's behind him?
Yeah. Do you think McLean will be the opening day starter?
I don't think they'll do that solely because, I don't think they want to put that on him right away. I mean, I think everyone with eyes knows, hey, yeah, this guy is our best starting pitcher right now. But I think for a guy who's entering his first full major league season, it's very rare air that a guy with that little time, I know Skeen started opening day this past year for the Pirates, but it's that's the rare air, that type of guy. And maybe Nolan McLean's there, and we just haven't seen a full season of it yet. But I think in Carlos Mendoza's cases, you got to make sure his head's there. You got to make sure, hey, we're counting on you, but there is a different type of thing.
That's also assuming that Carlos Mendoza is approaching this logically.
Also fair. Now, could Nolan McLean be the opening day starter in 27? 100%. It wouldn't shock me if he just threw up the kind of season where you're like, all right, yep, they were right.
Yeah, I could see
here now.
Yeah, I could see them maybe. I could see them maybe not putting that on him. His, this I guess is going to be his rookie season, since I don't think he didn't play long enough. I guess to he still has rookie eligibility this year. So
yeah, he didn't throw enough innings. I'm going to go back and look, but I don't believe Matt Harvey was the opening day starter in 2013. And he had the same kind of thing where he came in at the end of
did he come in at the end of 2012 or did he come up
I thought he came up July 2012 because he and Dickey were in the same rotation for a minute. And when we went into 2013, it's all right, sick. We're gonna get a full season of this kid now. I don't think he was the opening day starter that year. If I'm pulling that up right now, but everybody knew going into that year, all right, let's see what he's got. John Neese was the opening day starter in 2013, but it was Harvey started game 2. I could see them doing that with McLean.
Who would start opening day? Would you just go Holmes or I don't
Holmes,
think I'd start Holmes opening day again, especially because it's like, a guy who's struggling to get innings. Like, I don't want to put myself behind the 8 ball right out the gate. I know it's just opening day, and it's kind of opening day is like, I mean, I love opening day. It's one of the best days of the year, but it's also like kind of a glorified holiday in a lot of ways because it's like it's just the first game of 162.
I could see them giving Peterson the ball, especially now that he's the longest tenured guy on the team.
Yeah, that would.
For as bad as the second half went, he still was an all-star last year. So it's, hey, we're putting our 2025 all-star on the mound. Like there's still something to that.
Yeah.
And there's, much like with Clay Holmes, there's every reason to think that David Peterson will be built a little bit better to withstand the workload and the demand this time. There's every reason that he might just be better this year because he's physically up to it. So I don't think that would be a crazy thing to do.
Facts. Yeah, no, I think that makes
and you can still keep the lefty righty thing going where you do Peterson, McLean, Minaya, Holmes, maybe Senga fifth, maybe Sproat or Tong fifth, however you want to do it.
Yeah. Do you think Sproat and Tong are gonna make like the opening day roster?
I think one of them will.
I think
they're going to leave the competition there where it's all right. We both gave you an equal shot down the stretch. You both are capable of being here, but we don't have enough room right now. Who wants that spot?
Yeah.
And you got to do it in a way to make sure where you don't lose one of them, because invariably somebody's going to get hurt because this is baseball. This is just how this goes. And you got to make sure those guys are still there where it's, hey, look, we might be coming back to you. Be ready.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see one of those guys getting the number 5 slot right out of the start.
Yeah, I could see that. I feel like I would give the edge to Sproat probably.
I would lean that way too.
Yeah. Shall we do our World Baseball Classic preview?
Let's get to it.
The 2026 World Baseball Classic starting in March. And we got it's the US team, and it's pretty much US, Japan, and everybody else.
Well, now, I mean, that Dominican lineup is pretty crazy. I wouldn't write them off so quickly. Also,
who does the Dominican Republic have?
I'm going to pull that up, and while I do that, because real life has to hit every facet of our fucking lives. What's going to happen now with Venezuela? Because that's a very real team in this thing. I think Venezuela's represented themselves very well in the past.
Oh boy, yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess they'd just be Team USA. Team USA too.
Yeah. Also, a very real concern for a lot of teams right now is I feel like everybody's got someone, whether on their major league roster or as one of their minor league prospects who's from Venezuela who went home for the offseason. I don't know what happens.
That's I didn't even think about did not even think about the impacts that all of this could have on baseball. But no, that's a good point. I'm sure there are a lot of people who probably are home or in some way or shape or form are definitely like affected by all this. So
this is a starting 9 of confirmed players for the Dominican. Across the outfield, you have Juan Soto, Julio Rodriguez, Fernando Tatis Jr. On the infield, you have Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Ketel Marte, Manny Machado, Geraldo Perdomo. Yanier Diaz behind the plate, Jose Ramirez as your DH, which I could see Manny playing third there because Jose Ramirez, good defensive third baseman. He's not Manny Machado. And Sandy Alcantara as their number 1. That's pretty damn tough.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Aaron Judge, Aaron Judge decided to build like the Avengers team for Team USA. Although he didn't do that. He doesn't seem to want to use that recruiting power for the Yankees, but he gets us Alex Verdugo. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the USA team is definitely stacked. You got Tariq Skubal, Paul Skeens, and Logan Webb, headlining the rotation. Joe Ryan and Nolan McLean are like on the back end. You got Clay Holmes, David Bednar, Mason Miller. So, and then you got Cal Raleigh and Will Smith as your catchers. So, I mean, Will Smith as your backup catcher, not a bad,
Yeah,
not a bad place to
the
be.
guy that won Game 7.
Yeah. They got then Gunnar Henderson, Bryce Terang, Bobby Witt Jr., Corbin Carroll, PCA, and Aaron Judge in the outfield. Kyle Schwarber. Who's playing first for this team?
It's gonna be Bryce.
That's right.
I just want to say, having looked at this roster and knowing that Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper are on it, I feel very Puerto Rican. To paraphrase the FIFA president from a few years ago, I feel Puerto Rican. He said, "You mean to tell me I have to root for Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper? No, I do not. I do not have to do that."
What's Puerto Rico's roster looking like?
This is all I need. This is all I need right here.
I mean, yeah, you got what you need in terms of that, but who else?
We also have Jose Barrios, Seth Lugo. Oh, that's right. Austin Wells is also on the Dominican roster. That's a thing.
Austin Wells.
Who knew?
I never would have guessed. Is Ben Rice on that team?
Gotta be. Nolan Arenado is on this Puerto Rico team, which news to me. Okay. Carlos Correa is on this day. We've got the best defensive team in the whole damn thing. Let me tell you. Kike's on here. Winners. I see winners. Yeah. That's what I see.
I do see. I do see a loser here too. Oh wait, this is the old roster.
Yeah, this is the international baseball thread from Reddit, and they've been updating it. Kike's name is crossed out. I know he's been on Puerto Rico's team before, so I think he might have asked out. So they got Andy Pajes off here too, which that's tough. Zach Neto would have qualified, but I guess he declined, which is tough. Could have used that defense there.
Yeah, that's a tough blow for them. Yeah, I don't know why he would decline. I mean, it's like you do spring training every year. Like you get the opportunity to like do something cool.
Yeah, it does say something now that the past few times there have been guys from teams that were just in the postseason that made deep runs who are still like, nah, get me in here. It's just as a baseball fan, and I think we as baseball fans have all wanted to have something close to the World Cup where it's like, all right, everybody's in. Everybody wants to be a part of this. Everyone wants to prove that they have it.
Yeah, or like
the problem's always been it's like, and the problem's always been it's like, okay, yeah, you've got some of the guys, but you don't have all of them. And then more and more of the hitters started doing it, and it's okay. Well, you got the hitters, but how are we going to handle the pitching thing? Everybody, the teams understandably are afraid of guys getting burned out, and MLB's, I think, done as best they could, putting in the guardrails to be like, all right, you can use them, but don't go crazy. It's March. But now more and more got like Skeens and Skubal, independent of it being the U.S., but just those two, the inarguable two best pitchers in the sport, both being like, Now get me in.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, no, I think like at this point, like all bets are off.
I mean, the group play is going to be fun. I think I'm going to be more, and I say this as someone who went to the 23 final, but I think I'm going to be more locked in now to group play and the buildup than I've ever been before. Because it just seems like finally we've taken it seriously. And not that other countries didn't, because like clearly, whenever you see it, you see the crowds in Asia, boy, they were ready to go from the beginning. The Latin crowds, whenever it's like the Dominican versus Colombia, boy, they're ready to go. But it just feels like everything's been more elevated now because it seems like we've finally gotten the best players in the sport to be like, okay, actually, this is kind of cool. Let's do this. So I think I'm going to pay more attention to this front to back than I think I ever have before. And
yeah,
I know I'm not alone on that. And so that's
yeah, I think it's yeah, I mean, the most seeded I ever was for a World Baseball Classic was last year, or not last year, but last time, 3 years ago, 2023. And even then, like, I really only watched like the semifinals and the finals. But this year feels like I will be the most the most tuned in for it. And yeah, it seems like it's definitely picking up steam, picking up popularity. Baseball as a whole really is picking up steam and popularity, which is why it would be very very baseball for them to kill all this momentum with a lockout next year.
All because y'all are scared to compete with the Dodgers.
Yeah, no, it's honestly, it's fucking sad, to be honest. And like, I'm at the point now where like with Kyle Tucker, like for example, it's like if it's between the Mets, Blue Jays, and Dodgers, like shit, I think he needs to go to the Mets. Like, I'm begging you guys to sign him. Like, can't have him going to. I definitely don't want him going to the Blue Jays, and the last thing the Dodgers need is to sign another top free agent. So.
And even being in the door for that final in 23, which is still funny, and I always like to tell people, I've gone to Marlins Park a lot since it opened. That is the only time I've ever been upstairs. That was my coworker at the time in the office for the school I work at. Like that Friday before, I think the final had just been set the night before. And he's like, I'm thinking about doing this. Do you want in? And I'm like, shit, it's the WBC final. How many chances am I going to get to do this? Let's go. But even going to that, like we knew that day, okay, they're going to have Imanaga start, and he's going to come over next year. He's already one of the best pitchers in Japan. They're willing to use Yu Darvish out of the bullpen. And, hey, if the situation calls for it, Shohei's going to pitch. And it's like, but we knew what we had. Like, I'm looking at the box score from the final now. I knew Merrill Kelly started that game, and it's like, man, we're in the World Baseball Classic final, and the best we can do is Merrill Kelly. And then after him, it was Aaron Loop, who Met legend, complimentary Met legend.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, is that a
no? He was
or...
what I would give to have 2021 Aaron Loop in our bullpen permanently.
Man.
And then 3 innings of Kyle Freeland in 2023. Jason Adam, David Bednar, and Devin Williams pitched the top of the ninth because the USA was home. The thing I will never forget from that game was the at-bat that Schwarber had in the 8th where he homered. He hit a foul ball that hit the ventilation system in the upper deck. Like,
at
to explain over the visually, but like, if home plate's here, we were like here, and the ventilation system was like down here. But like, I actually watched that foul ball go to the upper deck, and I'm like,
it's going into the
thing literally out of the stadium.
Yeah,
it's like I said, I've probably gone to 20, 30 games at Marlins Park. I've never seen a ball go up there.
Yeah.
And then 3 pitches later, He hit a home run that was out of there in about a second and a half. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, I can't say I remember that, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the World Baseball Classic tournament. I mean, obviously USA has got to be like the favorite to win. Just they just have the most star power, and obviously Japan last time was who ended up winning, and they probably had the second most star power. But I mean, if there was any other team you think that could give a run for give this thing a run for its money, I know you mentioned the Dominican team is very stacked as well. Are there any other teams that you could see potentially making a run at it?
Well, actually, as I look at it, Canada's kind of got something here.
Yeah, who do they have?
Funny enough, Owen Casey.
Oh,
Owen Casey's
so
on there.
That'll be like a good first real look at him.
Denzel Clark, who, if you don't know that name, he was the center fielder for the A's, who for about a month and a half last year was just every single week making the most ridiculous catch you've ever seen in your life. I didn't know he was Canadian, so that's how I learned out. They have Josh Naylor. They have Bo Naylor.
So they got the Naylor brothers, two crazy motherfuckers. They got Freddie Freeman clutch in the postseason. They got Mike.
He does have. I actually no. I do think he played for Canada in the last one, if I remember correctly.
Who? Freddie.
Yeah. They have Edouard Julien, who he's one of those guys where it's like it's been about 2 or 3 years now, but it's like, yeah, this guy's got batting champion written all over him. And it's like, well, if he wants to start any time now, that'd be great. Otto Lopez of the Marlins is Canadian. I'm not trying to be anybody, but like, how does that add up? I just would like to know.
Yeah.
The pitching's not great. They have. Oh yeah, that's right. Tyler O'Neill's on there. They have Cal Quantrill, who, they still have James Paxton on here, but he retired. I know for a fact he retired.
Yeah, maybe.
Cade Smith would help, but I think he's already declined. That would. Trying to see who else.
Canada. Yeah, Canada's team is not looking. It's not looking terrible. The rosters aren't fully. The rosters aren't fully declared yet, though. I don't think.
That's right, and also, Cuba's always interesting because you never quite know, because it's they'll have a major leaguer or two on there, but usually it's guys that are trying to get here and can't. And
yeah,
Cuba's been interesting because the first couple of WBCs they were right there. And they've kind of come back to the pack over the past 3. Right. So it's okay. Well, do they have another generation on the way? Or, I mean, I guess therein lies the problem for Cuba is if you really are any good in Cuba, you're not trying to stay there.
Yeah.
Leave, like in Aroldis Chapman's case, you can't go back. And that's how you get Aroldis Chapman playing for Great Britain.
Yeah.
Mexico could have something here. I didn't know. Wow, Taj Bradley qualifies for Mexico. Wow. Okay. Andres Munoz, nasty closer. Javier Assad, and that could be a guy you don't want to see. Alejandro Kirk. I forgot Jonathan Aranda, who had a breakout this past year.
Fucking Kirk.
Isaac Paredes, I didn't know he qualified for Mexico. Okay.
Yeah.
Rosarena, I forgot about him.
Yeah, Rosarena. Yeah, they got a lot of power.
That's right. Jaron Duran does qualify for. That's one of those things where it's like you hear it once and it just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But that is right. Marcelo Meyer could play for them. So okay. All right. I don't know if they would knock off any of the big dogs, but think they would make for some entertaining games.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
Jazz plays for Great Britain. I forgot about that.
Who?
Jazz plays for Great Britain.
Oh, no shit.
I guess the Bahamas fall under that. That's got to be like he had a relative that came from one of like the British colonies.
Yeah, what even?
They do a lot of that.
So we could all play for Great Britain. I could probably. I could probably play for Great Britain. I got some.
But I'm saying like a lot of the islands in the Caribbean are either under British control or Dutch control. Like when you see the Netherlands at this, it's 99% guys from Curacao.
Yeah,
and because that's under Dutch reign.
My fucking dude, DD.
That's Drew Jones. Yeah, well, the first time I ever heard of Curacao was because of his dad. So there's that.
Yeah.
Xander Bogaerts, Ozzy Albies, Kenley Jansen. They're all playing for the Netherlands, but they're all Curacao. Jurickson Profar, that's another one.
Sounds like a team that would have been sick in like the 2019 World Baseball Classic.
I mean, but they're still turning guys out now. And plus, it's also one of those things where they're still relatively new on this stage. So there's probably guys in the minors from Curacao right now that we just don't know about, and one or two of those are probably bound to hit. And this is especially true in Jurickson Profar's case. Curacao is basically the nation that represents the Caribbean at the Little League World Series pretty much every year now.
Yeah.
They kind of run this.
They run this shit. You know what would be sick is if we had in this World Baseball Classic at some point, if we had like kind of a politically charged benches clearing brawl, like what we had with the Four Nations hockey tournament between USA and Canada. Like if I don't know, the U.S. and Mexico play each other, or like USA.
Boy, do I have some news for you.
Yeah, or if Venezuela does play, like, and you see some shit pop off, that would be.
You know who else is in this?
Oh God,
Israel.
Of course they are. They're probably just gonna win.
The Mets.
I know they got
play two WBC teams as part of spring training. Israel's one of them, and to quote Jose Mourinho, I prefer not to speak.
Yeah, it's probably better.
I'd be in big trouble.
It's probably better. Yeah, it's probably better that you don't.
I'll leave it there.
Isn't there? I know Harrison Bader's on Team Israel. Wasn't there? Isn't there a Mets player that's going to be on Team Israel?
Second time Met, Robert Stock, who we had like 5 years ago and just re-signed.
So what's he going to do for the spring training game? Is he going to be on Israel or the Mets?
Good question.
Guess we'll just have to see where the stock falls.
Folks.
You got anything?
That's all I'm saying.
You got
Alex
anything?
Bregman actually is listed amongst the Israeli players.
Who?
Alex Bregman.
Oh, I'll be damned.
Mark Vientos is on. Oh, this kind of makes sense. The other WBC team that the Mets play is Nicaragua, which makes sense because Mark Vientos is part of that.
Yeah.
Jonathan Loaizaga is part of Nicaragua. I did not know that.
Oh. I didn't know they had lasagna in Nicaragua.
I wonder, like, I don't know how much he's talked about there. Like, obviously, like every country's got their baseball players where it's like, oh, well, he's the pride of our country.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's ever been discussed there and if his nickname's been brought up. And I just wonder if they're like, what is this?
Or if they it became like a delicacy there because of like someone tried let's try cooking this and like, oh, this is actually pretty damn good.
Isn't baseball a beautiful sport? It brought us the wonderment that is 4 cheese lasagna. Ain't this great?
All because of this very mid relief
Yeah.
pitcher.
The baseball is inconsequential here. It's really the food.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's what we're all here for.
Of course. Speaking of which, this is who's listed for Venezuela that they have here on this thread: Sal Perez, Altuve, Luis Arias, Wilson Contreras, Michael Garcia, Eugenio Suarez, who's still available, by the way, Gleyber Torres, Ronald Acuna Jr., Ezekiel Tovar. And Ezekiel Tovar is the worst of those players, and
that's not bad.
Him on your team.
Yeah, that's a sneaky.
That's real good.
That's a sneaky good team. I mean, they're probably not gonna win, but
probably get out of the group.
Yeah, they could get out of the group and make a run.
Oh, now here's the full Dominican roster. I didn't even mention out of that entire lineup, Junior Caminero's in there too.
Yeah.
But their base is so loaded that they didn't have a spot for him. But he'll probably still be on there.
So they just have him on the bench. Is there there's DH in World Baseball Classic, right?
Yes.
Like it's just universal, truly means universal.
Absolutely.
They got
DH.
Could
call on Teoscar. I don't know if he's committed. This thread here has Rafael Devers and Ellie crossed out. Ellie, I'm not so sure about because the last time they had the World Baseball Classic, he hadn't broken through yet. So he might want to like, hey, now it's my turn. Amongst the pitchers, I know I listed Sandy as being the first starter for them, but Edward Cabrera is in that mix for them. Luis Castillo is in that mix. Framber Valdez is in that mix. Brian Bayo is in there. It's got Freddie Peralta, but crossed out. So I'm not totally sure with that. But yeah, if it's not Japan or the U.S., I think the Dominican would be my bet to be the, I guess, the quote unquote surprise in the final. But it ain't really a surprise with that group.
Yeah, hard to call a surprise. I mean, those three teams will probably be gold medal and bronze in some capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it should be hell of a WBC this year.
Yeah, no, it should be. Yeah, it should be a hell of a World Baseball Classic. So at least we have that to look forward to during these trying times.
I know that's right.
Hopefully, we just got to make it there. Just got to make it there. But
safety not guaranteed.
No, never that. But if you don't have anything else, I think that pretty much, I think that we pretty much ran through everything pretty good. So if you don't have anything else, we can end the show. Of course, make sure you're following us at 4 to 7 Pods. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Same with the Middle Initial Podcast at MIPod69 on the socials. I believe that they have opened up the if you're not on Patreon or you're not subscribed to the Middle Initial Patreon, I believe it's free now. I don't think you have to pay for it anymore. So sign up for that and you can join the Discord. You kick it with me, Jerry, Case, Kev, Jude, the rest of the gang. And there's always some sort of good discussions going on there. Someone's always getting dunked on too. So there's really never a dull moment. And we got our own channel in there, the 4 to 7 channel. So
usually it's one person getting dunked on.
Yeah, usually it's one person, but there are I think there are a few other there are a few like substitute donkeys from time to time.
It's always fun during college football season, especially when we get to the ACC schedule.
Oh yeah. Phil and Stefan, our constituents, are partying it up in Arizona now, getting ready for the semifinals between Miami and Ole Miss. So
one man actually has a chance to win a national championship, and the other guy watched his quarterback leave his school to win a national championship at Montana State.
That game was pretty electric.
It was. I say that with no disrespect to Montana State.
Yeah.
Y'all actually won something.
No, mad respect to Montana State. Mad respect to the FCS.
That was fun.
Yeah, but it's 2026. We're back. We're happy to be back. As we inch closer to baseball season, and I'm sure we'll be back talking to you soon. If anyone,
one quick thing to add, I'm going to guess that the next time we do a show, it's probably going to be after the Hall of Fame announcement, which is coming pretty soon. I've kept my eye on the ballot trackers. It does look like Carlos Beltran's going to get in this year, and I would have to guess, and it's not the player's choice anymore, but if he gets in, he's probably going in with a Met hat on.
Yeah.
He would be the third player ever to do that. Seaver and Piazza being the other two, which means if he goes in with a Met cap, or wrong way, 15's got to be joining that. So might be a next discuss. I know they did announce, I think since our last show, he is going in the Met Hall of Fame this season, but that might be something they have to change because you go in wearing a Met cap, your number should be retired.
Yeah. So when is the announcement? It looks like it's in a couple of weeks, January 20th.
Yep.
So Carlos Beltran most likely gets in, and so he's going into the Mets Hall of Fame as well.
Yeah, they announced that like independent of this.
So let me ask you this. For the Mets Hall of Fame, like, does that mean your number automatically gets retired or not necessarily? Not necessarily, because the Jets do something similar with like their Ring of Honor, where I guess even if you I thought if you get inducted into their Ring of Honor, believe it or not, like they used to have players that were worthy of such a title. And there might be like one current player that may one day get there, but aside from that, but all that aside, like I didn't realize that being in the Ring of Honor didn't mean that your number was necessarily retired, because like apparently Nick Mangold's number isn't retired.
Well, I would say in football, I feel like the retired number in football is much, much rarer. They used to do it a lot more. Like I feel like every once in a while I see the list of retired numbers in the NFL, and a lot of them are usually guys that are pre-Super Bowl era guys. Like most of the Packers and Bears retired numbers are all guys from like the 60s and backwards. I think teams have gotten a lot more guarded about that. I think in the other sports, it's still pretty much like, no, if you were that cold, we'll do it.
Yeah.
I think the Mets Hall of Fame, like obviously there's still, Seaver and Piazza are up there, but I also think they do that as a way to be like, hey, we recognize that you're pretty important to us. I think the Hall of Fame is probably like the next tier down. Like,
retired
greatest Mets have their number retired. If you were not quite that, but really good, you're there. David Wright was the only one that went in the Mets Hall of Fame this past year, but in 23 it was Gary, Howie Rose, Howard Johnson. Howard Johnson's probably a shade below number retirement, but really good. And Al Leiter. Al Leiter, really good for a long while for the Mets. Probably not retirement number worthy, but better one. In 2021, it was Edgardo Alfonso. Much as I love him, probably not number retirement worthy, but should be in the Mets Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I don't think you retire. Yeah, I don't think you retire 13, but he has a spot in. Yeah, he has a spot in the Mets lore. Like, you can't tell the full story of the New York Mets franchise without mentioning Edgardo Alfonso at some point.
Ron Darling, same sort of thing.
Yeah,
when they retire at 12, it's going to be for someone else. But Ron Darling was an all-star, was the number 2 starter for a title team, and then has been on their broadcast for 20 years. Yeah, he better be in there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I guess. Yeah, I guess there can be somewhat of a difference and somewhat of a way to honor certain players who maybe didn't get you know, quite that quite to that mountaintop, or maybe mountaintop's not the right word, but they didn't get quite to the pinnacle of, oh, like, everyone sees a number 5 jersey for the Mets, they know it's David Wright, or everyone knows 31's Piazza. Like,
Right.
yeah, Edgardo Alfonso, like the real ones know, but you're not necessarily retiring number 13. And I'm sure there have been, even in recent years, there have been like some decent Mets who have worn number 13.
Billy Wagner. Billy Wagner
Yeah.
wore 13. That would be one.
Yeah, and he's
Or actually, one of the Mets who's going into the Met Hall of Fame this year with Carlos Beltran, Lee Mazzilli. To a generation of Mets fans, that's who they think of.
Yeah,
and
he
they're not
was
wrong.
Yankees first base coach at one point too.
There was a time where I had beef with Lee Mazzilli for that reason, because it was the year that we played you guys in the World Series, and it was a regular season game, and I forget who hit it, but like Todd Zeile was playing first, and he's moving to get out of position. It's like, all right, ball in the gap. Like, he's got to go to the edge of the outfield. And I think he got into the path of the runner. Didn't knock him over, but got in the path. And Fox had him mic'd up. And you can just hear Mazzilli going, "That's interference. That's interference." And then they call. And I'm like, "You motherfucker. Like, we gave you a ring. What kind of betrayal is this?" Yeah. And then after a while, I'm just like, that's a first base. Whatever. Like, he came back, and then he coached with the Mets later on, and now he does TV part-time for them. It's like, it's long enough in the past. Now I can let that go.
Yeah, it's probably a valid reason for having beef with someone. I'm petty enough that I would probably have beef.
That's how serious it was back then. Like, game 1 of a doubleheader in July, and I was like ready to go to war with this guy at 14 years old.
Like, you're fucking dead to me.
Yeah. Like, my dad said my mom had a crush on you. I don't buy it.
I don't believe you.
He doesn't have taste in men this bad.
Yeah, and on that note, we got to go out on top. So thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
See ya.